guys, welcome back to Mukbang 2. Today we'll be talking about the lovely book Tangerine.
But I will be talking about Paul. So I feel like Paul is very nice and he seems like a very independent person. And like when he told the girl Carrie that he didn't need her help.
Was it really Carrie?
Yeah. That was independence. Like he did not. He could have said, "I need you.
I need you. I need you. I need you right now."
So and like towards the end of the book when he told the cops what Eric and Arthur did, that was independence. That was also bravery. Like he is very brave. Like I would just keep my mouth shut because I'd be too scared. And yeah. Oh yeah, he also seems like someone who would be scared, but then towards the end of the book, he's not that scared.
I have to do this completely improv.
That's not our problem.
I'm saying improv because it's a part of like English. Like don't we learn that as a vocab word?
That's average, stupid.
Okay. Oh, so I'm going to be talking about the overall story. There's really nothing else to say.
Who left the crust in here? Y'all nasty.
So in the book Tangerine, the main character is Paul Fisher, aka
a muckbang.
aka a mukbang. AKA the protagonist of the story. I'd say the antagonist is probably his brother, Paul Fisher.
Lynn, tell us about the climax.
The climax is when Lewis dies. If you didn't know that yet, then you probably should read the book instead of slacking all the time. Some rising action to this climax was Paul moving, and then Paul going to school, but his mom signs him up for an IEP, and he can't play soccer anymore. So then they ask some people to move because of the sinkhole. So Paul volunteers to move schools, and he goes to Tangerine Middle School. And there he meets the soccer team, and that is a big part too because they influenced him a lot during the story. It made him stronger at the end. The climax was it was at the very end of the story, and it was when Lewis died. Lewis was Tino, and he was a teenager. This was when Paul finally found his voice and spoke up, and
Now let's get technical. I'm going to be talking about comparing and contrasting.
Ooh.
It's not technical, right?
In Tangerine, there were a lot of things you could compare and contrast. Like, for example, Eric and Paul. Eric and Paul were different in many ways, but Eric and Paul didn't have too many similarities other than they have the same parents and they live together and they play sports. But they're really different because Eric is kind of like this big, mean high schooler, Eric is like one of those big, mean, football players. Like you see in movies like the Hollywood, what do they call it? Hollywood cliches. Hollywood.
Swole?
Hollywood cliche football players,
swole.
Like from the movies. Ew. So Eric and Paul are different, like that because Eric's all mean, But on the other hand, Paul is considerate and compassionate because he helps other people, and he doesn't kill someone like he ordered Arthur to do to he commanded Arthur to do to Lewis. Another thing you could also compare and contrast is Lake Windsor Middle School and Tangerine Middle School. They're really different because Windsor. They're really different, and they do have some similarities. Both of their staffs are really strict. Follow the rules, like protocol. But if we're talking more about the differences, the students at Tangerine Middle School, I recall him saying they're gay. They have gangs. And at Tangerine Middle School, it's like Weenie Hut Jr. over here. You can't be on our team because insurance.
You just got the little Weenie Jr.
I guess you could also compare and contrast Tangerine, Florida as a whole versus Texas, where Paul came from. Texas, like when you picture it, it's like I don't know. Jalen, help me out with this. I've never been to Texas.
Texas is kind of like, it can be a city in some parts, but also it's like southern and a bunch of cowboys.
Cowboy.
You know, in Dallas, in Houston, in Austin, no. But if you go to that back, let's give me an example. Catula, that's real country culture. Cows, like wherever they keep their trash, they take it out and they put it in this big hole. I've seen it before. There's tortoises running around. It's country.
Tortoises.
That's where
It's a tortoise. But in Tangerine, he moves to like a development. He's talking about in the beginning of the book, the car ride there. He wasn't expecting as much country, you know, like the tangerine trees. But once he gets into the development, there's like mosquito problem. But that's after the muck fire problem. And then there is the muck fire problem in the book. And basically, he did compare and contrast when he was helping the tangerine trees not freeze. He was talking about how people in the development were at home listening to Christmas music while people out here are working their butts off trying to keep their plants and plantation alive. And I guess that's another thing you can compare and contrast is Texas and
Florida.
Tangerine, Florida. And I guess I did also cover how Tangerine and the development, how their counties/districts are separate and how they're very different in many ways. That pretty much wraps it up for my part.
Hey, boys! I'm not including that. So despite us just saying that it's been too short of a time. Bye, Jake Pollers.
Peace.
Oh, wait, good luck, Charlie. I remember doing that. Zac Efron.
No. Yeah.